Brain is the one that does all the SWOT analysis. You know, what you should talk, planning everything, intelligently, trying to manipulate all those things. Talk from the heart. It's the one which is pure. That's why you get a heart attack. So, what I want to say is, I see the campus, honestly. You are no way, 100%, no way inferior to IIT. I've seen, I was NIT Warangal. I was a chairman board of government. Okay, I was signing 3 years all the degree certificates in NIT one. I've seen the campus. I've seen IIT Hyderabad, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur. Every campus I've seen as a visiting faculty there also. But I can tell you, this is the best campus. Doing the remote area actually. I think it shows the commitment. See, I've seen MPs, so many MPs. Does Raghavendra behaves like MP? You see the person. Leave the difference between a political and personal life. We have to differentiate in our life. We try to mix it as dangerous. So we always Indians always like mixed curries. We make it mixed curry. That's a problem. And I think I want to thank Aruna Devi and young kid Subhash, and I want to thank everybody. And I want to tell you a simple story. Innovation. I want to touch upon. Very simple. How many people you remember in your childhood? Who was the best teacher? You remember anybody? How many people doesn't remember at all? Tell me. Everybody remembers one good teacher in your life? That's important for the child to understand about you also. What you give them. Okay? That's lifetime. And I think the teaching profession is one of the noblest professions, I'm telling you honestly. I've seen, I'm telling you, when I have a 92 years old school teacher, I still go and take his blessing. Okay? And he's so poor actually. When I see him, I see him pathetic. But I go and touch his feet because I remember my childhood, what he had taught me. And that's carried for life until I die. Okay? So I think you are in a great profession. What is important is you need to have passion. Not just for the sake of marks and all that. Marks are all over now. I tell you the 3 important differences between a 3 education system: American system, and Chinese system, and Indian system. Indian system we have degree, paper degree. Okay? Whereas Chinese education, I'm trying to understand why Chinese have done extremely well in science and technology in the world. They are beating even Americans. I'm trying to understand that. When I was in the US also, I've seen some of the Chinese. They can't even speak English. But they're so successful in science because they have a good degree and they have a skill set. How to do that experiment, they do it. And they're still successful because of that skill set. We are missing the skill set as a group. Coming to US education, they have a degree, they have a skill set, they have imagination. What is called imagination is a simple. An architect comes here, you tell him exactly how you want this auditorium to be built. An architect start imagining and start building your idea into a conceptualizing and making a drawing. That's an imagination. I'll come next slide. Next idea, I'll tell you what is imagination again. So that imagination power is created at the young age in the US. Very, very young age, at 5th standard, 2nd standard, 4th standard. They'll give you one, this microphone. You write 2 pages on this. What it looks at 2 years old, but 5 years, 6 years old, I would write. That imagination power is created at the young age. That is what we are trying to push in the Indian system also now. And this Baidu, all this software program is going to kill the entire country. The whole, Chinese have stopped that now. Chinese put a ban on Baidu, all those things has to be banned now. They banned it recently. They said nothing doing anymore, software things. It has to be physically to be there. So that's the education system reformation will come. Even Baidu one day will be into trouble if that happens. I think the teaching will never be changed. This sort of physical system will never be changed, will remain, be there. I tell you imagination. We see Lord Ganesha, am I right? We see Lord Ganesha, oh God, Ganesha, give me, I have to get, my students should get more marks, and my university should get high rank, my PS college should get high rank. That's all we play. But look at the imagination there. An elephant head on a human body. An elephant head is an organ. Come back to the realities of life. I'm not talking religious connotation, I'm just talking as scientists, okay? So you look at kidney, liver, heart, all are organs. Head is also an organ. So that means transplantation. Whether it's done or not, that's a separate question. But you see the imagination power of it. Zero was invented by Indian. How they invented? There was no computer, nothing. They invented. And zero was not there. Not today, software is not there. Apple is Microsoft is not there. Wipro is not there. Nobody is there. Zero was not there. You all know it as engineers how much importance of that zero is in the software issue. Coming to Golconda, 4 or 5 kilometers down, somebody can tap and listens to 5 kilometers up in Golconda. There was no sound engineer. There was no engineers from PS college or from IITs. But they imagine how they imagine the sound system moves. Okay. And I think, this is what you have to create to the kids. Kids, you have to create a passion of science. And if you create an engineering passion, I'm telling you, every one of you will be remembered for life. You give them, the child requires your mentorship. See, management can only provide the infrastructure and other things. But it's a teacher who is responsible. But teacher is negative minded. Oh no, I asked for Raghundaji, he is not giving me this. Otherwise I would have been a global teacher. We always ask, we blame something inefficient, we blame somebody else. Good, we take advantage of it. Oh, I have done it, great. But anything go bad, or push it on somebody, management, or the education system, or the government of India, or whatever it is we push it. That is not right. I think every one of us are responsible. We need to think what is right, what we can do with limited resources, what we can do to the country. Look at simple examples. I tell you some of the innovation and how I develop entrepreneurship, and I will come back on how the engineering is going to change. Whole engineering is going to change globally. And I think what we are teaching right now is different, but you're going to change the whole field. There's artificial intelligence, machine learning, and literally, the health gadgets, which is coming now, and a non-invasive system where healthcare is going to be integrated into the electronics, and literally you're going to be monitored, all the directions, face images, everything. But you may not know the science, but you can entice some kids to get interested. You create some interest in them. And I think until someday that kid can become somewhere an entrepreneur or go to US, whatever, they will always remember you. Yes, I got this idea in PS. My teacher taught me this. And I think that is what you should create to the society, and I'm sincerely interested. Every teacher, I've met so many people in NIT Warangal, they always blame, Minister of Home this is wrong, director is wrong, registrar is wrong, and dean's research is wrong, everything is wrong. And I ask simple question, is there nothing wrong with you? I think we need to ask ourselves, we have also wrong. As a teacher, as a student, we are also wrong. I think that we need to understand ourselves and start behaving that accordingly. If we behave that, I'm telling honestly, they have not told me anything what I should talk. Okay? Again, you should not, Indian 1.3 billion people are politicians in this country. Everybody is a politician. And we have so much of freedom, and we mind cook so much and throw everything in negative. And I think, always one thing I'll tell you, simple thing. Start thinking in a positive direction, everything. You will have a negative forces. Your friends will be a negative force. Some students will be a negative force. Whatever is negative force, don't deal with it. Think only one direction. And that direction, good or bad, you follow what your heart says. And you will succeed. I'm telling you, every one teacher will succeed. Every student also will succeed in the life. If you follow that one direction. But you go and yield to somebody of your colleague who is pulling your leg. No, don't teach like this. Management is wrong. Do this. Then you lost your career. Take my word, you lost your passion, you lost your vision. Everything you lost in your life. Remember one thing. What you do in the faculty 12 hours here, your home, your children are watching. In a child, what you would talk negative in the home is also going to impact on your children. What you carry the negative feeling from the society, that is going to impact on your family. Please remember, this is one thing I'm telling you. I tell everybody, please keep thinking positive. That's one thing. And I'm telling you, innovation is not a great thing. I tell you simple, leave the co-vaccine. That's a complex science and complex vaccine field and all that. Leave it, all those things. I don't want to touch about the vaccine field and all that, which is very complex. It's a different game. I tell simple things. I have a blood pressure, I can't eat pickle, am I right? Why did doctor tell you not to eat pickle? Because high sodium, high salt is there. Am I right? High sodium is there. But then without salt, can you eat a pickle? Simple. So how do you make that low sodium pickle? It's a simple concept. Then how do you make it? So there are plant salt which are low sodium, and mix those low sodium and gives you same flavor like a salt taste, and same thing again 70% of less sodium in the pickle. Is there something big innovation in this? It's a simple idea. So the problem is we always think in science. My PhD teacher told me one thing. Science, if you think in simple language, you will find the best solution in the world. But if you start thinking in complex manner, then you will never find a solution. That is more relevant to the teachers also. You are trying to make your science, your teaching, very complex. So you want to say that you want to get a good name because you made it complex. But I can tell you honestly, you are the worst teacher. If you make it simple, every child can understand. So simple language, you become the best teacher. That's a take home for everybody, even for a scientist and even for a teacher, faculty. If you make it simple, if my driver can understand my Covaxin to my driver, then I am the best teacher. So like the think in simple language, I've seen many teachers, they make it complicated. They want to show that, either they are ignorant, they are not knowing science, or they are ignorant, or they don't know how to teach. But think simple language. If you think in simple language, this is my take home, a good message for all of you. Think simple, and then everybody can understand. That's number one. And second is simple. We are all vitamin D deficient. Okay? And in a village, I used to drink river water. River water, always, I don't know, some of the 60 years old people will remember, how we used to drink river water. Now we can't drink river water, that's different matter. But river water was always a pleasant. So I was always asking question, why is the river water so pleasant? Then I asked the question, okay, it's a hypothesis. You create a hypothesis. Is it because the water is coming in a river where a lot of medicine plants are there? And it's picking up some of the flavors from the medicine plant. And it became a fragrant, and so it's getting very pleasant water to drink. So then can we create that type of water? So then I made a herbal water, and I got a global patent. Can you believe US and Europe and even Germany, everybody sanctioned the patent, including China and India. India and China is very tough to get Ayurvedic, anything in herbal. I got here also sanctioned. Okay? So very simple. How do you retain the herbal in a water? By putting a rosemary into that, it holds all the water. That's the innovation. Just to make sense. Look at vitamin D3. We are all sitting in the room. We don't get exposure to sunlight. We are all deficient of in this room, I think 95% of the people will be vitamin D deficient in this room because we are not exposed. So I said, okay, let's do something. Can we make a vitamin D3 water? Vegetarian water, because the vitamin D3 comes from the sheep. So I want to make a lot of vegetables in the country. So can we make a vegetarian vitamin D? We got imported vitamin D3 from mushroom from UK, and we made a nanoparticle. I made it as a nanoparticle stabilized in a water, and just now we filed recently patent on a vitamin D3 water. Vitamin D3 is a lipid; it cannot dissolve. So you make it simple. So you look at it simple angle. Is it a complicated science? Yes or no? Tell me. Complicated? No. That's all. If you think simple, you will find always the best solution. That's my take-home message. And I think, look at simple angles of animal healthcare. I went to animal healthcare, not to start a business to make money. My mother told me one thing: you have 9 inches stomach. How much ever money you make, you can't eat more than 9 inches stomach. Today now 9 inches become 4 inches. Nothing else we can eat even after you get a blood pressure, you get all the problems in the life after 60s, 65. Okay? So you can't eat that also. So I think, very simple, Nagpur and Kolar. I looked at it, a lot of farmers are committing suicide in Nagpur. I asked a question, Kolar district also same rainfall, but why Kolar district farmers are not committing suicide? Why farmers in Nagpur is committing suicide? Then I asked a simple question, if the rainfall is same, then why Nagpur farmers committing suicide? Because they grow cotton crop, and if cotton crop fails in the monsoon, they commit suicide. So you don't need MS Swaminathan, you don't need economists to tell us. Okay? So what is important in Kolar, we looked at the same rainfall, but not only depending on agriculture, they depend on dairy, they depend on poultry, they depend on sericulture. They have allied agriculture, which is supporting their family, so there is no committing suicide anybody in Kolar district. Simple observation. For that, we have economic commission in Delhi, we have statistician, We have so many big policy makers in Delhi sitting and talking all policy issues about macro because they missed the ground level. A simple thinking, simple thinking. The simple thinking, if it was there, they can find a bigger solution. They have not thought about it. That's how we started animal healthcare. I said we have to create innovation to help farmers to create that type of strategy. And I think, look at, sesame oil. It's called a nallenna, vallenna, am I right? Vallenna. Vallenna also, vallenna. Also called it vallenna. Vallenna also? Huh? Vallenna also? Huh? Vallenna. Some people call vallenna, all are, but vallenna is also used. In Telugu it's called manchunona. In Tamil, nallenna. Okay? In Malayalam also called nallenna. Have you asked your grandmother why this is called good oil? Have you asked? Yes or no? No? The ladies particularly keeping quiet. Okay? So, nobody asks the question. And you look at the pickles in India, South India. All are made with the pickle, the oil. Sad part of this country, even ICA, okay, or even Agriculture University here, I have not thought about it, why it's called good oil. Even now we don't know science. Even now we don't know science of it. Okay? And mustard oil? All North Indian pickles are made in mustard oil. South Indians are sesame oil. So, Canadian, 85% of export of Canadian government, agriculture produce, is only canola oil, which is almost 100 billion pounds of export. Only canola oil. And the canola oil is nothing but mustard oil. They took under Indo-Canadian bilateral program in the 60s, they took the mustard seeds from India, they grow, they brought uric acid a little bit down by the classical breeding. And they brought down, they don't want to call mustard oil. If they call mustard oil, come with India. So they call Canadian oil called canola. Okay? Simple strategy. How they change the game. And we have a nallenna here, and we are all bad people here. Oil is good, but we are bad people. So I think, look at it now, samosa, we're eating with the ketchup. Because Americans taught us how to eat ketchup with the French fries and all that. So we are now, everybody, have you seen anywhere chutney powder in ready-made to cook, put in a water, it becomes chutney. Have you seen anywhere? We are not even seeing the chutney in this country, food processing industry. Okay? Simple thing. Then we talk about big things. Okay? And I think I have hundreds of examples like that. I don't want to bore you people. Okay? But what I'm trying to say is, think simple. And in engineering is going to phenomenally change. The one way forward for you. A lot of startups are there in Bangalore. A lot of startups. Okay? Artificial intelligence and machine learning and data management, big data management, financial data management, and electronics, a lot of automation, electronic machine learning, and electronics, a lot of startups. Tell the young kid who started the company there, please request him to come to here. And every month, you do one startup fellow to come and give presentation to all the students. That one student, that startup fellow, he will narrate the story of the entire, what the demand going to be artificial intelligence, how to think simple language in artificial intelligence, that will entice our kids. Okay? So every time teacher cannot do everything. And science is moving too fast. It's too fast. The only thing best is get a lot of people start at Bangalore. Has got too many startups. Even Dharwad started a lot of startups in engineering. I'm seeing that. Okay? Call them. Make a database of all the startups in Bangalore. And you hire a Bangalore. And I'm telling honestly, use our MP, influence, get them. This is where our member of parliament helps. To get that startup, he can ask the industry secretary to put a word to the startup to come for a birthday. Okay? And show him the joke falls tonight. So you'll be happy. So I think you're done. Don't pay any money for it. Okay? Don't pay any money. Okay? That's it. So don't pay anything. If you pay money, then it is useless. Okay? So I think get startups. Get enticed. I want the campus to be vibrant. Not morning, evening teaching and then grading. It's a monotonous. I don't want that monotonous. I want vibration in the campus. The culture, innovation culture, when we had one of the software top man in the Bangalore, I don't want to name him, okay? we both in the panel discussion. So on innovation, the one debate was, this is almost 10 years back, okay? 10 years back. He said, we will build a very good cash flow, and then once we have cash flow, we will build a lot of innovation that time. So my opinion was opposite. My opinion, once you build a cash flow, you will never be innovative. Because innovation starts from the culture of a family, right from the day one of the organization. An organization, an institution, everybody start the culture from the day one. Once you create a culture from the bottom up, then automatically whether you are alive or dead doesn't matter, but the culture will continue and progress the innovation. Whereas once you have cash, you are only busy with your CFO controls entire your company. Your CFO controls what scientists can do, nothing he can do. Scientists will never be able to achieve anything. Okay? So I think it's not the cash is important. What is important is the culture of creation. And I think I want that culture to be created in PS. Honestly, if I spend time 30 minutes, give me some respect for the 30 minutes. And I'm telling honestly, just give attention to the kids. And encourage them with a lot of ideas. Throw them ideas. Even if they're challenging you, take it as a challenge. It's good for you. That challenge will help your children. Okay? And I think today kids are very, very smart. They're very, very smart. They need some path to be shown. And the path can be bring from IIT faculty or from the startups from I think startup from Bangalore would be ideal for you to bring exposure of this sort of thing. And in the next 5 years, a lot of young kids will become startups of Shivamogga. That we need to create a culture right now. And I think again, everything looking at the management is not right decision. I think every faculty has got one responsibility, whether you're a civil engineer, mechanical engineering, or electronic engineering, you have to track all the startups which are there in back. And track and they correspond, and then you give the address to management, and then pull those people. If they don't pull, don't worry about it. We'll send some gundas and get them here. Okay? It's not a problem. Okay? And I think we should get it. I think start the process. And that will create vibration in the faculty and students. And I think once you start the vibration, in 5 years, this campus will be, actually people will be asking other states to triplicate this sort of model. Okay? And the culture has to be. I always strongly believe that culture is very important at the bottom of the pyramid. The culture, only faculty can give. Only faculty, not the management. Management can give money, but nothing else they can do. It's a faculty who has to take it to the heart, not here. No, you start doing, I always look at MBA, people are a little skeptical. Okay? My son is still doing MBA. No, I think he doesn't say MBA. No, so the MBA is doing all SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, all that. Finally, they will never take a decision. Once I was in Harvard management school, Dean asked me, I told him, how do you take a decision? I take intuitive. The Dean asked me, can you define intuitive? How do you take intuition? You said intuitively you take. Then can you define that intuitive? Intuitive means very simple. Sometimes mind and heart very coordinates, exactly same. And that's intuitive. And if it matches, it's a phenomenal decision. Okay? So I think, but one thing is important is heart is still important. You need to have passion for the institution. You need to have passion for the kids. And you have to create as a teacher, create impact in their life. And you are a very, very important backbone in the life. I'm telling honestly. Okay? I'm telling you, I offered to some of my teachers, their children, I offered them a job. For the regard for the hand. Okay? So your children will benefit in that way also process. I'm telling you. Trust me on this. You will not see that, but in 5 years you will see that. Keep in mind, teach in simple manner. Simple way. Kids will get excited in simple. Once they got the simple fundamentals of simple thinking, then they start looking at Google, they look at a book, then they get excited. Once you create a fire in their mind, then they can start. So it's all in your hand, and I only beg you and request you, all the faculty here, okay, be a role model, create passion in the children, and that's what the future of India is going to be looking at. Future of India is the young generation, and I think you are the inspiration for those future generation of this country. Thank you very much. Any questions?